Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is about media pitches. Why do they succeed and why do they fail? The frustrating reality is that many media pitches fail. And in today's video, I'm going to walk you through the key things you need to get right in order for your media pitch to be successful and what to avoid so you don't go straight to the bin. Hey, if you're new here, I'm Sandra. I'm a PR expert and a former journalist with 15 years' experience in local, print, national, and broadcast media. I've worked with over 100 publications to get myself and clients into places like Forbes, Harper's Bazaar, Independent, Times, and many, many others. I've also written a book. It's called Breaking into the Media, A Journalist's Guide to Publicity. So I'm going to walk you through the 5 reasons why your pitch may be getting ignored. Okay, so the first one is it's too generic. Journalists receive dozens, sometimes hundreds of pitches every single day. And if your email starts with Dear Editor, Dear News Editor, Dear Features Editor, and it looks like a copy and paste job, then it's heading straight to the bin. They'll read the first sentence and say, this is being sent out to loads and loads of people. It's too generic. It's not focused on what I do. They're not going to want to know anymore. So, how do you fix this? First of all, personalize. Use the journalist's email and reference a recent article that they have done that relates to what you're now sending them. It shows you've done your homework. It shows you know what's making the news. It also shows what area the journalist works in and why you're emailing them. So they piece it all together and go, okay, this person's done their homework. This person could be somebody I would like to work with. Okay, the second thing that you may have done is you haven't done enough research. Are you pitching the wrong journalist? And this happens a lot. This happened to me an awful lot in my 15 years in journalism. Or you're pitching the wrong publication. This happens a lot as well. The one way ticket to getting ignored is you're pitching the wrong place in the first place because you're not in the right place. You're better off not sending anything than sending it to the wrong journalist and to the wrong publication. So, how do you fix this? Make sure your story is actually relevant to that publication, and you need to make that front and center of your pitch. So, if they cover tech, don't be pitching them in a story about fashion. I know this sounds super, super simple, but this is a mistake journalists are still seeing today. Okay, number 3, your subject line is just too boring. It doesn't speak to the current news trends. It doesn't relate to what the journalist does. A weak subject line almost guarantees that your email won't get opened at all. So, how do you fix this? The one way you can fix this is actually tie it back to your research. Is there a specific segment in that publication that you're pitching to? Let's say it's tech. So there's a tech talks piece in that publication. In your subject line, you would put in first 2 words, tech talks, and then why your pitch is related and why you're pitching into this particular segment. Instant way to get your email opened because the journalist is looking for pitches that are related to that specific area, and you've actually told them in your subject line that that's what this is for. So I think the best way to start making your subject lines better is to actually test them. And you can do this on lots of PR software. So another way, actually, before we get on to my next point, is if you put, and this is an exclusive, or you mention data that is, massively over exaggerated, and the journalist opens the email and they see it's not an exclusive, the data doesn't add up to them, they will most likely blacklist your email because they'll see you as untrustworthy. You don't know what an exclusive is. An exclusive has to be an exclusive. And this is something I'm going to tackle in more detail in another video. Whatever you say in your subject line has to relate to what the email is about. So if they open it, they go, oh, this subject line looks interesting. And then they open it and you haven't followed up on what's in the subject line, that's also an instant delete. They're not going to get back to you. Your pitch is too long. It's just way, way, way too long. Journalists don't have time to read long pitches. If your email is rambling and it doesn't have a structure, then they're just not going to read it. The simplest way to do this is to stick to an email pitch that is between 200 and 250 words. You need to be able to break it down into what is the main hook of this story? What is the main point of interest in this story? Do I have quotes from a good spokesperson? Mention that. Do I have data that is not over exaggerated and that is related to this pitch and can be backed up by your research? Okay, include that. You need to include things that are focal points, not lots of ramblings about why this story is good, why you should be interested in the story. You shouldn't have to say that at all. Your pitch should stand alone as a pitch that they want to read because you've got it well structured, you're using bullet points, but you're also saying newsworthy pieces in your pitch. And number five, and this is the sad reality of a lot of pitches, they actually don't add value. Your pitch should answer the question, why is this important right now? It relates to something, it's a future trend that you see coming, and you think readers should know about this right now. And you always have to think when you're offering value to the reader, the listener, the viewer of this content. If it's not timely, if it's not newsworthy, it's not going to get picked up by the journalist. Now, how you fix this is you tie your pitch to a current event, like I just said. You tie it to a trend, or you tie it to data that brings a story forward another step. Because journalists and editors in particular are always looking to develop stories that are currently out there. So always think, okay, that's a story I relate to. Is there something in my business, in my expertise, that can push this story forward another little bit? And if you can do that, then you have a pitch that the journalist will be interested in. Other quick fire ways that you can get a journalist's attention fast. And you need to be able to get it fast these days because, like I said earlier, they're getting hundreds of pitches every single day. So, step one, you need to hook them in quickly. Your subject line either needs to relate to a column that they write, the area they work in, or it's an actual exclusive, or it's data that is backed up by research and that is related to a current newsworthy event. So keep it short because but stand a better chance of the journalist reading it if it's short and succinct and gets to the point. And you stand a better chance of them getting back to you to say, look, we are going to go ahead and use this story, or we're not going to go ahead and use this now, but I have a feature in 2 months' time and I will be back to talk to you about this then. And step three is follow up. Now, there is an art to this. Some people follow up too much, they follow up the next day or the next hour. You need to give the story time for the journal. You need to give the journalist time to read your pitch, consider it, pitch it to their editor, and come back to you with next steps. So I always recommend that if your story is super urgent and it's current right now, then I think it's okay to follow up the next day and say, look, I'm popping this back into the top of your inbox because it's current right now and maybe you've missed it. That's okay. If it's a story that doesn't have a very short time frame, then I think you need to leave it with the journalist for a week and then come back around and say, look, I have extra information that maybe might be of interest to you for this story. Don't just keep your follow up with, did you get my email? Are you using my story? Offer something else. Use it as an opportunity to give them more information in order for them to reconsider your pitch and say, actually, we do want to cover this story. So I would love to hear your thoughts on If you're pitching out to the media right now, how it's going, please pop your questions in the comments because I would love to hear how you're getting on. And also, please pass this video along to people you know, business leaders that are trying to get media coverage right now and would really like some insider tips on how to do it better. Okay, so now you have a blueprint, a structure that you can follow in order to make your media pitches better. Start using these tips and start to see how they can massively impact your media pitches and start building relationships with journalists today. Also, if you would like some really deep insights into how to do this, grab a copy of my book called Breaking into the Media, A Journalist's Guide to Publicity. In this book, I share insider tips from my 15 years in journalism. And you'll find lots of helpful tips in there. And it's a very, very practical book. So you can literally get started as quickly as possible if you just follow along with what's in each chapter. Please like and subscribe, and also put some messages in the comments so I can see how you're getting on. And I hope to see you in my next video.